We are now joined by the former Aviation Minister, Mr. Ajit Singh himself. Sir, thank you very much for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Sir, finally, we've been hearing about this for quite some time, that the Cabinet will take a call on this. Finally, moments ago, Cabinet has cleared, so Air India will be divested. And what we know from the press briefing that the Finance Minister gave us soon after the Cabinet was that there will be a group of ministers, a panel will be formed, and they will be charting the road ahead. Your first thoughts, sir?
Well, yes, it's if they are going to sell Air India, this is the right time. Because, see, for last 2 years or so, the traffic has grown, and because of petrol prices have gone down, the aviation sector is in a good situation now. Mm-hmm. But either they do a stake sale, a strategic sale, and give the management, total complete management to some company, or completely sell it. These are the only two ways.
Right. Do you feel that at this point in time, Air India is a good buy? Because even though you're seeing things may have changed in the last 2 years, but the point is still the company has debt of almost 50,000 crore rupees. Every year it's posting losses again in the thousands of crore rupees. I mean, if we were to just look at the numbers, sir, I mean, in the financial year 2015-2016, its overall net loss was 2,600 crore rupees. So from a business standpoint, does it still make sense for companies to go and make that kind of investment in Air India?
Let me tell you, I had a study done when I was the minister. And either you do a strategic sale or sell it completely, government will have to bear a lot of cost. Mm-hmm. Either way. There's no other way.
Mm-hmm. But what is important, sir, you're telling me that even when you were the aviation minister, you had sort of done an internal study weighing the potential and the possibility of going ahead and really divesting Air India. Is that correct, sir?
See, let me put it this way. Aviation now is a very highly competitive industry. Mm-hmm. Very capital intensive and very competitive. Mm-hmm. So the quick decisions have to be made on, the routes, the fares, the special fares, all kind of things. Mm-hmm. And government is just not suited for those kind of decision making.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So are you implying then, sir, that as an alliance partner with the then Congress government, you were at some point contemplating the possibility of divesting Air India, but you did not have the political, the government then did not have the political capital to go ahead and really bite the bullet?
See, as I said that, at that time, the Air India hadn't paid, don't forget, for 6 months, 1 year salaries. Yeah. There were all kind of problems, and they were continuously losing money. The merger, which was done in 2007, was not even complete, really. Mm-hmm. So all those things have changed now. That plan which we had put forward has brought the airline to the situation now that you can at least think of selling it. And again, that problem still remains, that the government will have to bear the cost. But I think they have to, it's better to do it now rather than keep having these losses continuously.
In fact, covering the aviation sector at that point, sir, I remember the role you played in actually breaking that deadlock and the kind of strikes that we were seeing from the crew members, pilots of Air India. But tell me, sir, let me come back to this point that you're saying that the government will have to also bear a lot of pain, a lot of cost if this divestment is to go through. Could you just expand a little bit more on that, sir? What are the couple of things that you have in mind?
As I said, if you do a strategic sale, then you give, whoever wants to buy 10%, 20%, government maintains the majority of the stake. But you give complete management freedom to whoever the buyer is. That's one way. Mm-hmm. And second thing is you try to privatize it totally, which may be a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
Because I don't know if anybody would want to put in that kind of a stake in that in the company, even in today's situation. And either way, either you do it, give the management to some people who are interested in running an airline, or sell it completely, government will have to bear huge cost. They have to bite that bullet, either way.
Right. do you foresee opposition coming in there from the unions? Because, so you've also, I mean, you faced a lot of flack from the unions, being the government at that point. Do you foresee any kind of sort of roadblock or concerns being raised by the unions in terms of, you know, the road ahead and actually having to serve a company which is not state-owned?
See, let me put it this way, that unions will have certainly some problems. But, and there are problems with Air India, there is staff and all that. They are very good people, very qualified people. It's just the environment which makes it difficult for them to perform also.
Right, right.
So the unions will have the problem, but I'm sure you have to negotiate with them.
So,
and they also understand that, you see, as I mentioned, that about 4 or 5 years ago, they were not paid for months and months and months.
Yeah, yeah.
So therefore, if it is sold somewhere where the company can run it, make profits, then they are also better off.
So 2 last points then finally, as you're telling us now that even as the aviation minister, then you did sort of, internally you were deliberating of and weighing the pros and cons of actually going ahead with the divestment of Air India. What stopped you, sir? I mean, and what does it say about, many would say, especially within the BJP would say, it speaks so much about, the sort of, the character and, and the risk-taking ability of the Prime Minister that we can, that this government can bite the bullet, whereas the government that you represented then couldn't.
No, listen, one thing, as I said, the situation, aviation sector has improved a lot now. That's one reason this is the right time to sell. Second thing is that political environment at that time was different. I don't remember, but many people at that time, many in the cabinet also were in favor of this investment. But overall, it was a coalition government, and then opposition also, BJP, I don't think was in favor of it either.
So there were some cabinet members too who were in support of this, largely, in principle. Many. Finally, sir, under your ministership, we saw the Jet Etihad deal happening. And again, that was a very important moment. First time a foreign carrier investing in a domestic carrier. As and when this Air India divestment is to go through, in the larger scheme of things, what does it represent for aviation sector in general?
Well, it's good to say Air India has huge assets. Now, but when people talk about, the land and the buildings and all that, we try to sell them also. But even now, the market is not right you can sell those assets and get the money.
Right. Absolutely.
But overall, it will be good for the aviation sector.
Yes, in fact.
There will be another efficiently run competitor in the market that will be good for overall for the sector.
Right, absolutely. And so talking about the assets today are valued at over 30,000 crore when we talk of Air India. Mr. Ajit Singh, absolute pleasure, like always, speaking with you. And thank you very much for joining us and giving us your thoughts on this. Thank you very much, sir.